Step into the shadows with Silent Witness, where truth and mystery collide. Tonight, we revisit one of the most haunting unsolved cases in modern history, the disappearance of Amy Lynn Bradley, a vibrant young woman who vanished from a Caribbean cruise ship without a trace, leaving behind decades of unanswered questions. Amy Lynn Bradley was just 23 years old, a recent college graduate, a strong swimmer, a lifeguard with her whole life ahead of her. On March 23, 1998, she boarded the Rhapsody of the Seas for what was supposed to be a dream vacation with her parents and brother. But by morning, Amy was gone, leaving behind her shoes, ID, and every belonging, and a family desperate for answers. Amy was born on May 12, 1974, in Petersburg, Virginia. Outgoing and athletic, she excelled at basketball and became a certified lifeguard. She had recently graduated from Longwood University with a degree in physical education and had just landed a new job. She was deeply bonded with her family, her parents, Ron and Iva, and younger brother, Brad. She was a devoted dog owner and a young woman standing at the threshold of an exciting future. For the Bradleys, the Caribbean cruise was a chance to celebrate milestones and spend quality time together. No one imagined it would become a lifelong nightmare. On the night of March 23rd, Amy and Brad enjoyed the ship's nightclub, dancing with passengers and members of the ship's band. One musician, Alistair "Yellow" Douglas, was seen speaking with Amy throughout the evening. Around 3:35 in the morning, Brad returned to their cabin. Amy followed a few minutes later. She changed into comfortable clothes and decided to relax on the balcony. By 5:30, her father, Ron, awoke to find Amy sleeping peacefully on a lounge chair. Just 30 minutes later, at 6 o'clock, she was gone. Her sandals, ID, and cigarette lighter were still inside the cabin. When the family raised the alarm, a full-scale search was not immediately initiated. Passengers were allowed to disembark at the ship's next port in Curaçao before any formal investigation began. By the time authorities got involved, crucial evidence had been lost. The Rhapsody of the Seas was a massive ship carrying over 2,000 passengers and crew. Amy's disappearance occurred while it was docked, meaning she could have gone overboard or left the ship. But Amy's belongings, the absence of a struggle, and the lack of physical evidence left investigators with nothing concrete. For her family, one truth was undeniable. Amy didn't just disappear into thin air. Initial speculation pointed to an accidental fall overboard. But Amy was a certified lifeguard and expert swimmer. No distress calls were heard, and extensive searches of the surrounding waters turned up nothing. Other theories included voluntary disappearance or even suicide. Her family vehemently rejects both, insisting Amy had every reason to live. She was excited about her new job, had made plans for the future, and had no history of depression. The FBI launched an investigation but was hampered by the delay in securing the ship and the lack of surveillance. Footage. Forensic evidence was almost non-existent. With no solid leads, the case began to go cold. In the months and years following her disappearance, reported sightings of Amy kept hope alive. A scuba diver in Curaçao claimed to have seen a distressed woman matching Amy's description on a remote beach, flanked by two men. A U.S. Navy petty officer reported a woman in a Curaçao brothel whispering, "My name is Amy Bradley. Please help me," before being taken away. Tourists in Barbados described encountering a terrified woman in a restroom, who quickly left with unidentified men. Perhaps most unsettling were photos that surfaced online years later of a woman working in the Caribbean sex trade, bearing striking similarities to Amy, including tattoos. Alistair "Yellow" Douglas, the ship's bass guitarist, was one of the last people seen with Amy. He cooperated with authorities and passed a polygraph, yet his proximity to Amy that night and later contact with her family have fueled public suspicion. Officially, Douglas has never been charged or formally named as a suspect, but he remains a figure of intrigue. Several theories continue to dominate discussions of Amy Lynn Bradley's disappearance. An accidental fall overboard is still considered by some investigators, though her strong swimming ability casts doubt. Abduction and trafficking are supported by repeated sightings and disturbing accounts of her being held against her will. Voluntary disappearance is possible, yet inconsistent with Amy's close family ties and upcoming plans. For over 25 years, Amy's parents and brother have fought tirelessly to find her. They've offered a reward exceeding $300,000 for credible information, while the FBI has added an additional $25,000. Birthdays, holidays, and anniversaries are marked by painful reminders of her absence. Mysterious logins to Amy's memorial website, often from Caribbean IP addresses, have provided chilling glimmers of hope, suggesting that someone, somewhere, still holds the key to what happened. Amy Lynn Bradley's disappearance is a chilling reminder of how quickly a life can change. To this day, her fate remains a mystery, a haunting unsolved crime that continues to baffle investigators and torment her loved ones. Was it an accident, a calculated abduction, or something far more sinister? Until the truth comes to light, her story remains a silent witness to the darkness of the unknown. If you have any information about Amy Lynn Bradley's disappearance, contact the FBI or credible missing persons organizations. Subscribe to Silent Witness for more stories of true crime, unsolved mysteries, and cold cases, because some stories refuse to stay silent.